Sawadika. Okay, finally going to the latest presentation. I am Nikma from Indonesia. Thank you very much. This is a great honor for me being in Mahanakron University in Thailand, in Bangkok. So it's great. It's nice to meet you all here today. And maybe I will share in a less technical. I want to share about the point of view from Indonesian successful case, about the point of view from our ministry, how they are expected in revolutionary in the GIS industry. Because before, we only knew that GIS is only about the tools that we use to do the overlay, to do the buffer, to do the spatial analysis. But actually, how we implement it in the daily and also to support the governmental or any industry. Okay, I only have 15 slides, so no need to worry. Okay, first of all, I want to share about the journey in Indonesia. SuperMap in Indonesia starting about like 6 years ago, so this is like our 7th years in Indonesia, and it's not an easy challenge, it's really hard to going through the market in Indonesia. We all knew that Indonesia is a stable market for GIS. And we have a strong competitor, we have a many competitor, and right now, so many startup company in Indonesia build IT industry based on the GIS. And we have a different approach to Indonesian market. We are selling the solution-based industry, and we have a different case in each industry. So if I go to the mining, I go to the plantation, I go to retail, I go to the government, it's all a different case of project. And this is actually an overview, what we do and what we collaborate with our partner and our clients in Indonesia. So today I want to talk about the GeoFirst. Actually, why we call it GeoFirst. This is one of the solutions we have for the government of the interesting issue. So before we talk about GeoFirst, I want to talk to you about the background of some of the project. In these past 5 years, Indonesia has a revolutionary from our president. We have important things that to move our capital city from Jakarta to another island. So this is the case that I want to bring today. What is the background of those projects actually? This is Jakarta. Maybe Jakarta now is a lot better than before. And this one is a new capital city we plan to move in another island. And let's see the condition of Jakarta today. Today, Jakarta has a lot of people. Every day, more than 25 million people commuting from satellite city of Jakarta to Jakarta. So it's a very frustrating actually. Maybe some of the person here, like Dr. Tarawut, last month visited our office in Jakarta, and hopefully your team has an interesting experience in Jakarta about the traffic, about the pollution, about the weather. It's so hot there. And then the second, we have many urbanization in Jakarta. In the Java island, there is a higher economic than the other island. So it's not good for the country because only Java or only Bali that popular that have a rising economic. But how's about the other island? So that is the first thoughts from our president why we need to move the capital city to other island. And then there is a plan to move Jakarta capital city to, we call it Nusantara. Actually, we call it Nusantara. It's a one city in the East Kalimantan. Why we choose Kalimantan? There is also some of the reason. First reason is actually from the research. Kalimantan is the safest island in Indonesia. Why? You know we have a ring of disaster from the west until the east, from many directions. We have a circle of rings for disaster. If we see closer, only Kalimantan Island doesn't have this kind of ring. This island doesn't touch by megatrust element. So that is why Kalimantan is one of the safest islands in Indonesia. And then the second is because of we want the economic more affiliate in all Indonesia. We choose the center of Indonesia. So basically, the zero coordinate of Indonesia is here. So this is really the center of Indonesia. And then government have a big area owned by government in that island. So that is the most reasonable why we want to move Jakarta to IKN or Nusantara. And then I want to share you about how we support this case. So we want the high level saying how the city is like what the city do, not only from the paper, not only from the table, not only from how people speak, but really know your city. So from those reasons, we moving it to the application. We have 4 problems from Jakarta: population, economic, urbanization, and disaster. You know that Jakarta is shrinking every year, right? So we transform the uncontracted city to the geo-first and empowers the economic mitigation through data-first. So we have 2 new words, geo-first and data-first. I will let you know to watch the video, but before that, this is the goals of this support to the government. We do it with the Ministry of Planning. We have a Ministry of Planning in Indonesia, and we have a Ministry of Statistical Data. These 2 ministries handling the important data for Indonesia. And actually right now, we support until this one. Why? Because the city doesn't construct yet. So it's still an area, and it's still about the planning, it's still about the opening area, something like that. So we go to know your city level and about the predictive analysis for the citizen. In these 2 models, we have 2 goals. In the know your city model, we want to collect all the data. So basically, all the analysis starting from the data, right? We want to move all the data into the geo first, into the geo-based, in other words, into the digital twin city in the application. And then we turn into reality planning decision. So our government can do a planning and decide what we need to improve, what we need to do more real time. And then about the predictive analysis, we collect all the data into the verse, into the one platform, so we can explore and we can do a prediction based the government program. I will tell you the details later. So this is a 4 minutes video. Maybe I will let you to watch it first. Is there any sound? Oh, if no, I will explain it. You can watch it first. So basically, this is the real data of Nusantara, the new capital city of Indonesia, from the orthography, from the terrain, from the new building concept, and also from the analysis. I want to share with you the most interesting one. Later, we will see the video first. This is about the planning with the real measurement. So the high level, just monitor from Jakarta. No need to go to Nusantara right now. And it's more efficient. We also do the building analysis in the real building measurement, in the real coordinate. And then we do the monitoring for the construction. how the construct needs to be done in Nusantara. And yeah, we can beautify the visualization for more decision planning. And then we combine with the geospatial-based analysis. Actually, we have a seismic data of this place. You know that seismic data is hard to combine with the geospatial, but we have this one. And what is the function? Before construct the city, we need to know the vulnerability of the land. We need to know how strong the land to build by the building. So actually, the government is really planned well for this moving of capital city. And we also trying to mitigate the disaster from the slope, from the building, and also from the flooding analysis. And the other analysis need to be done before we construct the city for the new government. And not only the planning, but we do the design. The design used to know how the best implicable of this mountain going to the city. And then we do the build construction. This is still under development because right now there is still in the planning side, but this is the concept we want to provide with them until the construction. And then the last process actually is about the monitoring its side. Not only planning, not only construct, and not only build, but how we can monitor. And the monitoring actually is not about the land again, but it's about the people, about the socio-economic, how about the growing of the infrastructure. It's not only about the land anymore, but it's about the inside of the city. And we will talk about the inside of the city more deeply after this video. We can connect to IoT later to monitor the real time of the city. And we mitigate to simulate the disaster. So this is the plan that we want to do a security planning of this city. And this is the demographic we need to learn about the inside of the city. This is about the people. This is about the economic that we need to monitor from the high level point of view. And okay, this is for the geo first. So we move the concept inside of our brain to application. So we can learn how to build the city in a very strategic way. And then we move to the data first. Then how data first can empower the geo first. Geo first, we talk about the planning, we talk about the building, we talk about the infrastructure, but how the people inside of the city, we need to know, we need to monitor, and we need to predict how the city life getting higher. And we have a task actually from our president to move the social economic status of Indonesia into the higher level because we have a many pure netizens right now. The poverty in Indonesia is getting high. We have an unemployed rates until 5% and the extreme poverty until 2%. So until President Jokowi will replacing with a new president, we need to move this 2% to the 0% actually. And we have election next year, so we will know later if we can fulfill this task from Mr. Jokowi. But actually, to support the geo first, we have a data first in Indonesia. What is data first about? Actually, data first is data about your citizen. It's data about the social economic, and it's data about the individuality. This platform contains all the data from the very individual, so it's very micro. And the most important thing is we have a prediction machine learning behind of the engine of this platform. What we predict actually, so we have so many villages, we have so many provinces, we have so many people and we need to know why this area is getting poor or why this area have an extreme poverty. Why? So from this variable, we want to predict to another villages. So we don't need to calculate one by one, but we try to create a machine learning base of the engine so the condition from one city can be duplicated in the next city, something like that. If, in example, if I have live in a city A and then this city is judging with less education and less criminality and very poor, why? There is a lot of reason. Maybe there is no infrastructure there, or maybe there is no facility of education there. So it will turn out that this kind of data will provide a best strategic program for your government. Like if we talk to Ministry of Infrastructure, they need to provide a facility for infrastructure. But if we talk to Ministry of Education, they need to add more education facility in this area. And then we talk to Ministry of Stunting of Health. So they need to build a new health infrastructure in their area. So that is the prediction that we do in this platform. And then this data first actually empower the geoforce in the reality decision making. So all those data in the 2D mapping, we can see that it's a two-dimension mapping with a 3D visualization, but we're moving to the geoforce. All those 2D data is getting to the game engine of the geoforce in Indonesia. So actually, basically, the birds is a game, but you know the terrain, the ocean, and the data inside the building is a real data. And actually, it's not about the visualization. We can see the attribute and also the data of these people of this game engine. So this is how we empower the data first to the geo first. We can combine the people, the city, the infrastructure, all the things built as a city into one platform. And you can see the high-level management very like for this platform. Because why? Because they don't need to asking the stuff like, what is the city growing? What is the poverty percentage of the city? No, they can just see from the application. So this is a GIS from the C-level perspective. Like we don't only do a processing, we don't only do a data management or data preparation, but we need to show to the other people that doesn't know GIS well, that GIS is really helpful for their daily activity. This is another sample. You know that we have also a direction. This is a real data. This is not a game data. This is a real data. And also all the information is a real data. So basically, all the data is showing in a very insightful visual. It's like how predictive shifting from your finger to your visual, from your doing a finger to your eye. And this is a masterpiece of geospatial analysis. Okay, thank you very much. ขอบคุณค่ะ